No matter what your skill level is in the kitchen, everybody needs to have at least a few go-to recipes that they can keep in their back pocket whenever they need it. Today I'm going to show you one of my favorite one-pot meals, chicken and rice. Meet me in the kitchen, let's make it happen. One of the best things about this recipe is not only it's easy cleanup because it's a one-pot meal, but it's also really cheap because you can get chicken thighs really inexpensively at the grocery store. So that's what we're using today, bone in, skin on. These are the, they're coming from a store that I have a little beef with because the chicken is never, the best looking. So we're gonna go ahead and tidy it up a bit. We're gonna trim off any excess fat or skin, but inexpensive, right? So can't complain. Beggars can't be choosers. What I also like to do is get up under the skin when I season this, because one of the beautiful things about this recipe is you get a nice crispy skin on it, but you don't want to over season the skin because all the additional seasonings outside of salt are gonna burn. And we're gonna try to avoid that today by lifting the skin up, seasoning underneath the skin, and then just using salt on top of the skin. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about here in a minute, but as you can see, there's better thighs out there than these, but hey, we're working with what we got. I'm gonna make these pretty. Just call me Dr. Miami. So, as I said, we wanna go ahead and slightly remove the skin a bit, or at least loosen it up so we can get some flavor up under there. Do that for each of your thighs. You don't have to remove it completely. You just want to, loosen it up so we can get some flavor in here. Lay the skin back on top, get a good sear. All right, so for this seasoning blend, underneath the skin, we're going to use a combination of my all-purpose and the adobo all-purpose. Equal parts. Get some good flavor up under that skin.
And this episode is sponsored by Good Chop. Good Chop offers fully customizable boxes of high quality meat and seafood delivered to your door on your schedule. The products are vacuum sealed and flash frozen at peak freshness so you can stock your freezer and cook whenever you want. My favorite part is I don't have to waste time searching for quality cuts that don't cost a fortune. Good Chop's price per meal is $3.74. There's also something for everybody. 100% grass-fed ribeyes, USDA prime filet mignon, wild-caught salmon, like the salmon I'm cooking in this video that was absolutely delicious and perfect for meal prep. Unlike many other companies, Good Chop sources its meat and seafood exclusively from American farms and fisheries. By choosing Good Chop, you support local family farms and independent ranchers right here in the United States. Good Chop especially prides itself on sourcing meat that comes with no antibiotics or added hormones ever. No artificial ingredients, only the good stuff, which is why they feel confident about their 100% money back guarantee. Love Good Chop or get your money back. So don't waste another second. Go to goodchop.com/YouTube and use code MAKEITHAPPEN120 or click the link in the caption below to get $120 off across your first 4 boxes. That's goodchop.com/YouTube and use the code MAKEITHAPPEN120 or click the link in the caption below to get $120 off your first 4 boxes.
No need to go too crazy. This was the first whisk ever invented right here. God gave us our own whisk. All right, so get up under let's use our fingers here. Just a nice light application on both ends. And you can season the other side heavily. We just don't want to neglect. No bites should be under seasoned. And then we're going to take just some salt because that's not going to burn. You're going to get a nice beautiful golden brown crust on your chicken skin if you use just salt. All the other herbs and black peppers and all that stuff is going to burn up at high heat. And it's not going to look as pretty. Flip them over and then we're going to season the underside nicely as well. Now another trick for extra crispy skin is you can put this in the refrigerator for like an hour, let it air chill, and that will dry out the skin a little bit more. And a dry skin is gonna be a crispy skin. So you can do that. I might pop it in there for like 30 minutes. We don't have quite an hour, but if you have the time, an hour, even 2 or 3 hours would be perfect. All right guys, so when it comes to the veggies for this recipe, you can interchange them however you like. You throw some jalapeno in there if you want a little additional spice. Today we're keeping it simple with red and green bell pepper for the color contrast and 1 onion. So we're just gonna dice these up nice and fine. I like to dice my bell pepper like this by removing the top, face down, and then slice around the core, leaving those seeds intact, because the seeds are kind of like sticky and they make a mess. They're hard to clean up. So, boom. If you want to really get the most out of it, you can cut the end piece off too, and you just discard the stuff that you're not going to use. Repeat that process for all of your bell pepper. There's a million ways to do this, so if you got a different way, feel free to complain in the comments. This is how I like to do it. Then you can stack them. You want to make sure you have a nice sharp knife for this. You don't want to let anything slip on you. So if you feel comfortable dicing them in a different fashion, then by all means go right ahead. But this kind of speeds up the process a little bit. Nice bite-sized pieces. And again, you don't have to use red and green. I just like the color contrast that it, presents well on the plate. You can use whatever color you got in the fridge, or whatever if you have a preference, that's cool. Next, we're to dice up the onion. I like to leave the root intact, holds everything together, makes it a lot easier for you. Super easy. You guys have seen me do this a million times, but slice in a couple different directions and then nice dice. There you have it, folks. Peppers and onions ready for our chicken and rice. Now it's time to get to cooking. We're gonna heat our skillet over medium-high heat. Add about a tablespoon of avocado oil. I like to use that because it has a high smoke point and it's good for searing. So got some high temperatures going here. Try to get this skillet coated. Running a little low on my avocado oil. No big deal, we got enough for the day. Just let that get nice and warm. So once it gets hot enough, we're gonna go ahead and add the skin side down first. Give it a couple minutes until it gets golden brown and beautiful. Flip it over, cook the other side, and then we're gonna remove the chicken. All right guys, so as you can see, you have some beautifully golden brown and crispy chicken skin. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I'll give you a little demonstration in a minute. We'll go ahead and remove that so we can get our veggies cooking and then get the rice in there. Then we'll add the chicken back in to finish cooking. Tons of flavor being built here. Everything's being made in the same skillet. We already rinsed off our rice, so the rice is nice and clean. I went ahead and killed the heat here. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and get a little bit of butter, about a tablespoon or so, into the skillet. Start to get up some of that fond, and then we're gonna cook our veggies. And go those peppers and onions. All right, so I went ahead and pulled out a little bit of the avocado oil, replaced it with a tablespoon of butter. Butter makes everything better, tons of flavor there. We're gonna begin the cooking process on our veggies. We're gonna start to season this, get all of the seasoning in there, because next we're gonna add the rice, followed by the chicken broth. Bring that up to a simmer, and then add in those chicken thighs. So once the veggies get a head start, we're going in with a nice heavy tablespoon of garlic, 1 packet of the good stuff. This is gonna help give some color to the rice, a little MSG, a little flavor. Really can't go wrong, especially in a chicken and rice recipe. We're gonna add a teaspoon or so of chicken bouillon powder, which is also gonna beef up the chicken flavor. Give that a little mix, that way the saison. We're gonna give that a good mix so that everything's evenly distributed. And then we're gonna add a little bit of smoked paprika, a little dried oregano, and then some cayenne pepper for a little heat. Also for a little heat, we're gonna use my hot all-purpose seasoning, which has some jalapeno powder in there, a little cayenne as well. Packs a little punch. House is smelling amazing already right out the gate. Using low sodium chicken broth too, guys, so we're not going too crazy on the sodium here. In goes the washed rice. We're gonna toast that a little bit, get it all coated in all that seasoning. Make sure that it's evenly distributed as well. You can see some beautiful colors developing already. And then after about 2 or 3 minutes of toasting the rice, we're gonna add 4 cups of our chicken broth. Add the chicken back to the party, cover with the lid for 20 to 25 minutes until the chicken registers 175 degrees internal temperature and your rice is finished. All right, so we're gonna add some fresh herbs, a little fresh thyme. Just gonna add another layer of flavor there, and then 4 cups of low sodium chicken broth. We're gonna bring this up to a simmer. Give it one mix, and then you don't really have to mess with it much after that. We'll fish out that thyme later. That's just in there to add some flavor to the broth. This is gonna be good, guys. Then in goes that chicken. And by the time the rice is cooked, the chicken will be cooked. You're gonna have yourself a delicious one-pot meal. All right, so after about 25 minutes and the rice is cooked, the chicken is cooked, it's time to plate this up. This is the part where I say, brace yourself for a trademark money shot. Say it with me, guys, looking good. The only thing left to do is dig in for the taste test, but before we do that, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell to enable notifications as well. All right, guys, I have my knife and my fork. Get us a nice piece of chicken. Don't shortchange yourself. Little rice, little chicken. Here we go. Oh, that's heartbreaking. That's my diet. Tell me I don't need all that rice. Hell with that diet.
The strong ass bang.
Can't make chicken and rice then.